Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Thomas. Tonight we're back here with Josh Scorcher, and tonight it's his first video of the new year with the top 10 2022 fails. So yeah, expect this every January 1st, I think. So yeah, I know I gotta do some of the other stuff. I'll get back to companies sooner or later. But anywho, I'm not gonna miss out on this, so let's check out the fails of 2022. I think a few I could think of are the NFT craze, because, woof. Let's see. Anything else that was a major disappointment? Not really. Other than the NFTs, like I said. But we're about to find out. So let's see the biggest fails of last year. So be sure to like, subscribe for more. Hope you enjoy. Here we go. Oh, jeez. This should be interesting.
If ever feuding gamers need to find some common ground, I've got a little list.
What is this from?
Of industry offenders to be violently drowned and never would be missed. Never would be missed. The scalpers who upsell the graphics cards and PS5s. The Bedford journalists you want to stab with 50 knives. The Tumblr hacks who got their fingers on the saints. And those who shove in politics in spite of our complaints. That CEO of Unity and Vanguard plagiarist. They none of them be missed. They none of them be missed. The brats who make the YouTube vids of all the music scores and other stories twists, they're going on the list. The adults who said to shut down all the online gaming stores, the classics they delist, they're definitely missed. The Halo TV writers as they never played the games, at least the Sonic movies and Arcane were not the same. Kotaku's newest nag who thinks themselves a connoisseur, who's whinging when she wants to summon Let Me Solo Her. The pious localizers who will never get the gist, they none of them be missed, they none of them be missed.
And none missed.
There's the cringe attempts by Blizzard to force diversity. Those creepy analysts, I put them on the list. And Epic Games abuses of our children's privacy. The morals are amiss, so they'll be on the list. Those pigs who take nostalgic games and turn them all to trash. Using hits of dopamine to mine us out of cash. Don't just say releasing games unfinished is okay. Abusers at your work.
Okay, that's fair enough.
For Judgment Day. Services instead of games, it's lovely as assist. They none of them be missed. They none of them be missed.
We've got them on the list, and they none of them be missed.
And all the freaking morons used to swear by NFTs. I wish they would desist. Of course they're on the list. It put those Filipino men in debt and poverty. It never would be missed. It never would be missed. Stealing indie games and selling them is quite obscene, but at least they didn't mint a picture of the fallen queen. A monkey MMO game was $1 million scam, as everything gets stolen and the metaverse is damned. GameStop, Ubisoft, and Square shove all this in our midst. Since they must persist, they'll all be on the list.
Okay, first up.
When you're a successful company that people love and get monetization in more ways than one, there's a temptation to rest on your laurels. But if you still make great products that fans love, then why fret? Sure, people may question your business approach, but you're still doing your job however you can, the best you can, hopefully.
Where's
but when you stop doing that, get ready for the backlash. Let's look at Exhibit A, Team Fortress 2. What was once a colossus among online first-person shooters is now a rundown saloon where snipers on Beyblades hang out. The game has not received any major update since Jungle Inferno, which even then was pushed long after another content drought. The game has been so poorly attended to that a fair share of smarties thought it'd be more fun to leak the game's source code and turn the game into a Wild West for bots galore. For years, TF2 has been almost unplayable, and people have been begging and protesting for Valve to give a darn about anything again. Fix the problem, add new content. Like, wasn't there supposed to be a heavy or engineer update? Heck, there are tons of content fans are practically gift wrapping for the devs to use in an official update. And after 5 years of practically nothing, Valve finally gave us a slew of updates. And
that's the big update. They didn't even fix the bot problem.
What a rip. Now, don't get me wrong, we still got a lot of new maps and items for Scream Fortress and Smithsmith as of late, so there is actual new content to be had. But not only does it still pale compared to an actual big update instead of a seasonal one, the underlying problem is still there. A few new maps aren't going to change the fact that people are still getting split-second headshots under their Smithsmith trees, and trying to have a normal, unmodded experience on Dust Bowl is next to impossible. I know a lot of the issues with TF2's slow development can be chalked up to there only being like 5 people keeping the game on life support, but that's all the more reason why Valve should stop being so cheap and get more qualified people on board to save the game. I mean, look at Pokemon, for instance. Sure, Game Freak's also pretty understaffed, and the Pokemon Company spent most of their budget on merch, but they clearly still care about their games. Even with all the corners they have to cut, there's still an abundance of creativity, and they still invest all their time to make sure every game comes out as comprehensive as possible.
La donna è mobile, qual piuma al vento, muta d'accento.
Yeah, you were saying there, Josh?
Oh yeah, let's talk
bugs.
about that. Exhibit B, Scarlet and Violet. The gameplay is one of the series' best yet. I'm having a ton of fun with it, but good golly, is there absolutely no excuse for the glitches and poor optimization when you're the most profitable video game franchise on the planet? I've tolerated a lot of long-standing issues with this series because none of it are anywhere near game-breaking. Sword and Shield, for instance, cutting the national dex in half, fine. You want to draw more attention to the new Pokemon, and I can respect that. Copying animations and models from one version to another, I can accept that too. There are like 1,000 Pokemon now. There's a fair corner to cut. Low-res textures? Sure, whatever.
Again,
not fantastic,
but
it's a bright and cartoony game. I can still suspend my disbelief. But here, performance-hindering memory leaks, textures not loading, models missing, and this? Yeah, no, gloves are off. They could and should have taken their time to polish this game. We already have Legends Arceus from January. We can wait another year. I don't think it surprises anyone that Pokemon has gone the way of Call of Duty and become a fierce part of rush culture. Considering the signs have already been painted ever since the abrupt conclusion of Generation 6, unless both the Pokemon Company and Game Freak get their act together and consider their approach, we might see gradually worse offenders in the future. Getting back to the point I was making, Valve and Pokemon, you are better than this. We clearly love your stuff, but please respect the staff and fans who have been keeping your products relevant all these years. The reason this is only number 10 is that in the end, all of these feel less like criminal intent and more like personal slights. The only thing actually abused here, as far as we know, is our goodwill and our wallets. All we can do now is hope these two have their fair share of eye-openers and what they must do to improve. No one wants to see these two become the next Bethesda.
Please, no more. I'm with you. Next.
In the summer of 2022.
Hello, Bethesda. Welcome back. We'll cover your list later.
Evidence, an expose on the horrendous, downright deplorable production history behind Fallout 76, and...
I am shocked. Shocked. Well, not that shocked.
It was horribly rushed and faced serious crunch time. Yeah, no duh.
We
all kind of figured that out when we saw the dang thing. What is shocking, though, is how apparently Bethesda knew it was going to be bad, but shipped it anyway.
You know what that's called?
Seriously?
Criminal intent.
Though, to its credit, updates have put Fallout 76 in a much better place than it was at launch. But stuff like this has just become the norm for the studio. However, there was something else bubbling within the walls of Bethesda.
Oh no.
Music composers are one of the many heroes in game production that often go unsung. Much as gaming music has become widely loved and appreciated, even by people who don't play themselves, it can be rare for musicians to receive any recognition for their work compared to voice actors or directors.
So what happened?
One of the few to break out of this is Mick Gordon. First gaining traction with his work on stuff like Need for Speed and Wolfenstein, he became a breakout hit for his work on the Doom 2016 soundtrack. While diehard fans were skeptical at first due to how different the style was, it quickly caught on and has become one of the most celebrated soundtracks in modern gaming, to the point where Argent Metal has arguably become a whole new genre of heavy metal.
Nice job. Hey, let's go!
When the first big trailer for Doom Eternal dropped, people were excited just to hear what he made for it this time, to the point where there were full rips of the trailer sung mere hours after it premiered. As it turned out, though, people hoping for the full Mick Gordon experience were disappointed.
Let me
I
guess.
was going to make a pun
Wasn't
about
there?
being doomed here, but honestly, Gordon
Doesn't
is better
sound-
than that.
When someone pointed out the lackluster audio mixing on Eternal compared to the other game, Gordon explained that he didn't even make most of the songs on the soundtrack
Seriously?
and wasn't even allowed to mix them. Soon after, one of the executive producers released a statement on Reddit saying that Gordon had taken too long mixing the soundtrack, to the point where the game was almost delayed because of it, and they had to make do with the little time they had left.
Wow.
Some took this well, others
Not so much.
But hey, we got the word right from the mouth of the execs, right? That clears it all up. Why would we ever have reason to doubt them?
There it is.
Surprise, surprise!
They're
The folks
lying.
at ID Software were lying. Suddenly,
Yeah.
Gordon not wanting to work for them again makes a whole lot of sense when you consider all that went down. The stuff about him causing a delay, for example, he was never even contracted to make the soundtrack when that happened. And not only that, he wasn't paid for half of what he made either. Look, it's true that Gordon has it better
What a
than
low
most
blow.
video game composers out there. It's true he's still doing well for himself. And it's true that his absence at least gave a much needed time for Andrew Hulshult to shine after years of making Doom tribute songs. But that doesn't change the fact that he was still cheated, mismanaged, and slandered by the people who requested his services. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you're one of the lucky big names or someone still struggling for your chance. Backstabbing
gotta
is
pay
still
up.
backstabbing. As every artist, musician, and creative worker out there will tell you, say it with me, folks, fuck you, pay me.
Pay me.
Here's hoping the folks behind Atomic Heart are giving him his fair due, because his past tribulation
do.
couldn't have been easy for him. Mr. Howard, Toddy boy, may I call you
Hey,
psycho?
Todd.
You're overworking and backstabbing some of your best employees. Whatever you think just works at your studio, it clearly don't.
Out. Idiots. Am I right?
All right, everybody, you know what time it is. It's time for the Wheel of Fails.
All right. This should be interesting.
All right, let's spin the wheel and see what it lands on.
Let's see who it is.
Come on, give me the egg, give me the egg,
Come on,
give me the egg.
come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, and
No.
Kotaku.
I can wax poetic about my thoughts on game
I think I know where this is going.
The universe. Heck, the combined amount of YouTube videos and comments criticizing them would outlive the entire Earth's lifespan at this rate. But we only have 3 to 5 minutes, so I'll just say that it really feels like game journalists only talk about games without
Never actually
playing
play them.
And it's very apparent with Kotaku. Sometimes they'll
There
do
you go.
decent journalism, like the Riot sexual
See ya.
harassment scandal from a few years ago, but most of the time their titles are no better than clickbait to entice readers. Now, clickbait isn't anything new. We've seen them, we've clicked them, we got viruses from them, and our wives yelled at us for getting viruses from them. I'm sorry, honey. But Kotaku isn't some
Been there,
third-party
done that.
site on
Whoops.
Facebook telling you which minor actor is leaving the MCU. They are one of the largest gaming news sites, up there with IGN and GameSpot. So it's kind of
what
weird
happened?
seeing some of the clickbait titles and opinion pieces they put together over the last year. For example, how Ghost of Tsushima is bad because it's not horny enough. In context, this came from an article about what Assassin's Creed Red should do in comparison to Ghost. The point the article was trying to make is how men in a lot of media are shown as buff and toned, but not interested in sex, and how they should embrace their horniness. Ugh.
Why?
Right, because when I think of oppressed, war-torn feudal Japan, I think I want to sleep with every
Horny.
NPC in sight. Look, you don't have to shove sexiness into everything.
Like,
If you're looking for a horny
buzz
game that
off.
plays well, just go buy Genshin Impact.
I want to have sexual relations with you right now!
Shut up.
Then there was the issue of the Xbox Game Pass burnout, where some people on Twitter were unsubscribing from Game Pass due to a lack of AAA content, despite, you know, it was only a few notable people, and people unsubscribe and resubscribe to streaming services all the time. When the next AAA game does come out, they're going to be right back on the Xbox train, as it's still
Back in
cheaper
and
than
back
buying
out.
the game
Back
for the
in, back
$70
out.
it will be if they get an individual. And next, you know the game Stray, that cute little post-apocalyptic Miyazaki-style kitty game? Apparently,
Love to play
it's
that again.
problematic. Yep, got a real big brain think piece here called The Art Style of Stray, Cultural Appropriation and Techno-Orientalism. And what do you know? It's another case of Speedy Gonzales syndrome, and most agents don't actually care. Don't you just love it?
Hush, minorities. I'm speaking for you.
Lastly, there was a whole debacle where in August, a sexual harassment complaint was filed against Nintendo. Oh no, this is serious.
Let me guess, not so
we
much.
need to look further into this. Allegedly, a lady who got stalked was told by said stalker that if she reported him, she'd be fired. Wow, that's certainly bad if true. It should be investigated. Surely Nintendo will pull an ActiBliz and cover it. Oh, they're actively investigating these claims as shown by a leaked internal memo. And it's been 5 months since these claims, and investigations like these usually take... another claim in the article is sexual harassment in a chat room, and that it wasn't actually Nintendo. It was a third-party contractor, Aerotech. And it wasn't sexual harassment, just inappropriate and immature memes. And it happened years ago. And it's anonymous. And no one else seems to be corroborating the story. And most of the article about both of these stories was talking about gender equality in the workplace rather than the allegations themselves. Kotaku.
You just want attention.
Real talk. I want to believe people when they come forward with these kinds of stories. But when said stories are full of this many holes, you really can't blame people when they think you're lying. Yes, Nintendo has problems. There's a whole investigation going on with them right now about labor complaints. And if anything comes from that, you can bet we'll report on it. Point is, there's plenty of tabloiding to do about Nintendo without having to prop up flimsy claims. In the end, I feel like a lot of what Kotaku does is purely opinion pieces without staying completely on the factual proof, which leads to the situations mentioned above, and Twitter having a field day with it. They are human and do err, but considering how many times they've been on these lists, they really need to just stick to the facts. It's especially hard to take them seriously as journalists when they call the game where you play as a cat racist.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, honestly, if I saw that, this is why I don't really read a lot of Kotaku. I'm just like, nope, I'm just gonna ignore it and just enjoy the game how I want to play. Like, seriously, what's the point? Sometimes you gotta take what you see with journalists with a pinch of salt sometimes. And really? No backing. Like, come on, guys. Really? Like I said, this is why I don't trust Kotaku. You know? Again, just... what are you gonna do? Anywho, moving on. Number 7, please.
Why is it when something happens, it is always you three?
You know, it's kind of funny in a dark way. With all the horrible revelations and blunders we've seen from Ubisoft, their fails list from 2019 feels so quaint by now. And you better believe that 2022 couldn't give them a break. Not that they deserve one, but so much has happened this year. Where to start? Well, for one, they cut off support for Hyperscape, Watch Dogs Legion, and Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Wow, and we were so close to winning a pizza party for most days without a live service shutting down.
Well, we'll always have the Stadia.
And shoot.
To be fair, at least one of them is still playable. Another was completely shut down, and the other... ooh, well, we'll get to those later.
Yeah, later.
Speaking of, they canceled quite a few games, which honestly feels like a blessing. Why does it feel like a blessing? Having a project people probably worked very hard on being canceled isn't supposed to be a good thing. It's like suddenly deciding to remove their games from Steam. Oh wait, they tried to do that too. Well, to be fair, they caved and didn't pull all of them off, but it still feels hollow when games like Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation still feel broken and annoying to buy. Why did they decide that this is a good idea? If someone could explain Ubisoftian logic to me, I feel like it would transcend existence. And just to rub salt in the wound, their stocks are at an all-time low. Okay, in all fairness, a lot of people are at a low point, but this just feels satisfying. What's that? You think I'm being needlessly harsh and unprofessional with Ubisoft? Yeah, if you saw all the misconduct reports within the company, you'd change your tune. Plus, how can you expect me to be professional when they gotta be bitter betties towards other people's success? Yeah, you know Elden Ring, which would eventually become the game of the year? At the start, its world was praised for being more immersive than a lot of Ubisoft games since it had so few intrusive elements to let you freely explore. Meanwhile, Ubisoft's open worlds are often criticized for being samey, handholdy, and obvious. Now, that's not necessarily bad. Heck, it worked great for Far Cry 3, but when all their games use this format, it gets old. Boring. And does cranky old Mr. Ubisoft try to take the criticism with grace and dignity? Oh, come on, we all know the answer to that. Oh, check out the salt explosion on these intercontinental ballistic tweets. Dissing their competition just because they did what they obviously couldn't. Because yes, instead of trying to fix our problems and accept that we need to better ourselves, let's just undermine the more successful guy. That'll make us feel better. Fortunately, this entry does come with a happy ending. Well, a fail for Ubisoft, a win for the devs. With the company in the state that it is, several devs decided it just wasn't worth it anymore. And thus the great exodus begins. Protests, walkouts, liberation! Bye-bye. Of course, Ubisoft tried to buy them back by offering pay raises, where upper level devs get an even higher wage while the lower get a small boost. Wow, you can't even do desperation right. To sum up, karma finally caught up with Ubisoft, and it's only going to get worse from here if they don't shape up.
Good.
Yeah, great. Like, at some points you gotta expect a walkout.
Does anyone else feel like when 343 Studios became the developer of the Halo games, the overall quality of them went down over time? I mean, I loved a lot of the Halo games, which is why
I kind of stopped after 4.
The downward trend it's gone through over the last few years. Last year, Halo Infinite was finally released after being delayed for a year, and when it was released, it was not bad. People praised the campaign as being one of the better ones 343 has put out, and the open world worked for the most part. However, when you think about shooters, especially one as prolific as Halo, you need to worry about the online multiplayer. And clearly someone's been borrowing Blizzard servers. High ping when connecting, a super tedious grind with the battle pass, and lack of actual decent rewards when you do the grind made people fall off the game real quick. In a month or two, Infinite's player count went lower than even Battlefield 2042.
Wow.
We'll get to you. Wait your turn.
Knock it off.
In the years since then, 343 hasn't really done a lot to fix it. They've been slowly adding in new maps and modes, but it wasn't until November of this year that we finally got online co-op and Forge mode. Two things people have been clamoring for months, and Halo 3 had on launch day. Xbox Game Studios said 343 is needing to refocus and will continue to work on updates to make sure the game is better in the future. So hopefully with that winter update, the game will see great things. Is that it? It's kind of high for that. I feel like I forgot something. Oh, right! The TV show. Yeah, that makes sense now. Yeah, you remember that? Well, of course not. You're all still watching House of Dragon and Andor. You saw the first episode, fell asleep faster than you did watching Rings of Power, and then went on Twitter to go #NotMyHalo. How the heck do you do a Halo show badly? Even if you don't follow the games, there are many novels you could have taken from to do a great show. While it has good action scenes, the elements it does take from the games and other source materials are superficial at best. Besides that, it got heavily panned for characters not acting like they would in the games, and the overall story just gets worse with each episode. Compared to the games, it just felt disjointed. And this is the same series as ODST and Guardians. Why did they do so badly? Well, for one, the showrunners never played the games. That explains everything. There are other things I could mention, like Cortana being a borderline necromancer, or the sex scene technically being Ace Erasure, or just do a full character study of #NotMyMasterChief. But I'll end it here. Season 2, yes, for some strange reason, the show is getting a Season 2, having a different showrunner, so hopefully it will be better. Can only go up, right?
Never know until it comes out. Number 5.
Let's look forward to the 35th anniversary of Final Fantasy.
You said it.
Okay.
I'm gonna go for Len FD next year and tell everyone to suck it.
Yep,
What?
that pretty much sums
Oh,
it up.
God.
We don't have to do the entry anymore.
No, come on.
We still got to
Explain the details. Come on. Thank you.
Wow, Square.
What happened?
Just wow. There isn't enough time in the day to go over the insane year you had. All this goodwill just out the window. You ended last year with freaking Sora and Smash Bros. And this year you started your CEO saying he's going to invest more money into blockchain and metaverse technologies. And yes, we will talk about NFTs too. Trust me. But first, let's list all of the BS that Square did this year, because some of it you probably forgot happened this year. We got cloud versions of Kingdom Hearts on Switch that were released buggy and poorly optimized and are still not fixed. And don't tell me they tried. If they got Nier Automata to work, they can get KH3 to work. You released a Final Fantasy VII Battle Royale whose major crossover was with the classic Final Fantasy VII and ended quickly as it started. Also, Babylon's Fall.
I don't get it. Why did Babylon's Fall fall?
Who knows? I heard the review said it's not fun, a boring live service, and doesn't look good.
It must be because Elden Ring.
Yeah, it's not. Oh, what about when Square sold all of its Western IPs to invest in NFTs? Yeah, remember that? It was April. They threw away their franchises for candy, money, and a Mexican robot. And don't forget about Chocobo GP, the Final Fantasy racing game that studied money making from EA University and graduated magna cum laude. It's a good school, top 10 and ripping people off with glitchy microtransactions. Well, I guess they failed that course and Square couldn't make it last the year. Oh, we can't forget about the NFTs because they did make some. They made a Cloud One, digital Final Fantasy cards, and of course, the biggest letdown in history, Parasite Eve NFTs. Hey, Barrett, what do you think about this?
I just want to talk to him.
Why do you have a shotgun?
I just want to talk to him.
Dad, this is ridiculous.
I just want to talk to him. I just want to talk to him. I just want to talk to him. I just want to shoot him. I just want to talk to him.
You can't shoot him.
Wait, what? True Blade Seeker is making my life easy today.
Just like I want to shoot.
And despite all of these issues, Square still had a really good year. New Star Ocean, new Valkyrie, Triangle Strategy, Live Alive, Romancing Saga Remaster, Stranger of Paradise, KH Anniversary, Final Fantasy VII Anniversary, Crisis Core Reunion. So many good events and games that are all dampened by the decisions of executives who want money. Heck, there are things I didn't even mention, like Yuji Naka being arrested, Marvel's Avengers not being dead, and comments about representation in Final Fantasy XVI. I love Square, but man, they need to get their crap together. Let's hope 2023 will be better.
I'm not sure, but we'll see what happens.
EA. No! What?
Sorry, force of habit.
No, we didn't mess up the order. There's plenty of stuff worse than EA this
So what they do this time?
Relatively speaking, this was a pretty tepid year for EA. That said, they're still on this list and this high for a reason. Starting off with their smallest yet arguably most infuriating act, their infamous tweet. They're a 10, but they only like playing single-player games. Look, not every corporate Twitter can be Wendy's or Arby's, but how can you be this tone deaf? Well, in their defense, most single-player games this year weren't too profitable. Well, it did release last year. The fails of Battlefield 2042 continued well into this year. Whether it's the non-existent roadmap, killing modes, or the drip feed of new content, the game has been nothing but a never-ending comedy of errors. At one point, EA went so far as to blame Halo Infinite for the game's failings.
Are you kidding me?
I don't know if you haven't been paying attention to the headlines, EA, but Halo's the last thing you should be blaming your failings on.
Yeah.
All the while, EA tells us that they're still working on it.
Right.
I don't believe you. Of course, you can't talk about EA without talking about their flagship franchise, Madden. NFL. To our utter lack of shock, the game was an unfinished mess. Even real-life athletes got in on the bashing. All this after EA told us this would be the most polished version in a long time.
Yeah,
it's really pathetic that EA is doing so poorly that their older games have bigger player bases than their modern ones. With all this in mind, I'm going to say something really controversial. I really think that people need to take some responsibility. Every year, we hear about how bad and unfinished EA games are, and people still buy them every time. This is far from a new thing, too. EA, in a nutshell, got it right over a decade ago. So to see people falling for it all these years later just
guys, if you're not gonna buy it,
Two
don't
things
buy
are
it.
infinite: the universe and human stupidity. Jury's out on the universe.
Well, jury. I mean, yeah, maybe not for long considering the multiverse or universe. But yeah, like, guys, if you're not gonna buy it, don't buy it. Like, seriously. I mean, do what I usually do. Just wait for the reviews and then compliment on it, you know? Like, I know I already pre-bought Hogwarts Legacy, but still, come on. Really? Like, how about you chill out and just... How about stop buying their stuff? If you keep buying it, they're just gonna think, oh, hey, they're still enjoying it. Like, no, if you're not, don't buy it. Like, sheesh. I mean, at this rate, they're not gonna care. Like, I mean, he's right. People are still stupid. What are you gonna do? People like Madden, and people are gonna get that Madden game, no matter what. Like, still, come on, guys. Moving on, final 3, here we go.
It was the most intense, dramatic, and polarized debacle of the year. Full of deception, emotional manipulation,
Pretty sure it's not the Amber Heard trial, but...
business conduct.
Wait, I think I got the wrong intro. Hang on.
It was the most intense, dramatic, and polarized debacle of the year. Full of deception, emotional manipulation, and the desolation of professional business conducts.
What happened?
There we go. Don't know how I got those two mixed up.
To its credit, the latter was a lot shorter than the former, but
I swear that's not me.
What a crap storm it was! Just to set the scene, it all started with Bayonetta 3. A nice return for the franchise, but you know something different?
Just a child? What are you doing running around Vigrid? Greedy little thing. Perhaps it's time for a crash diet.
For those who didn't catch it, Helena Taylor, the actress who's voiced Bayonetta for over 10 years since she was first created, was suddenly recast for the new game. Instead, taking the titular reins is veteran voice actor Jennifer Hale. And yeah, the difference is noticeable, but she did a nice job, I think. However, little did anyone realize how deep this rabbit hole actually goes. One fateful day, Taylor posted a video on Twitter announcing why she wasn't voicing Bayonetta. According to her, she was only going to be paid $4K for the entire game. Bear in mind, this is a major milestone for one of Nintendo's more underrated franchises, but $4K for what likely amounts to multiple days of grueling, multi-hour-long sessions? Yes, indeed, voice acting is not a well-respected art form, considering someone with years of skill and experience can be snubbed in favor of celebrity stardom. So, a call-out to the support of better payment for voice actors is long overdue. However, in Taylor's video, you start to notice quite a few red flags and you realize something's fishy with this picture. So let's dissect her vid, shall we?
If you're someone who cares about people, then I urge you to boycott this game.
Okay, maybe don't try to guilt trip people for their support. That's kind of underhanded, no matter how righteous the cause is.
She has no right to say she is the voice of Bayonetta. I created that voice. She has no right to sign merchandise as Bayonetta.
Whoa, 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 whoa! Hold on! We're being called upon to support voice actors, but throwing a fellow VA under the bus is acceptable losses, apparently?
I am not afraid of the non-disclosure agreement.
No, you really should be. You break one of those, you're liable for punitive. Also, if you don't care about NDA, then why not release the correspondence with Platinum? And things get even more outrageous when she compares herself to a human malware relief worker. Okay, look, no disrespect to voice actors, but saving the lives of sick patients is not on par with being a voice actor.
What are you thinking?
Speaking of, when you stop to think about it, if the payment was really that horrible, then why would Hale, a fellow SAG-AFTRA member who has always pushed for better voice actor pay, sign on for this project? There are way too many holes in this story, and would you look at that?
I'm a compulsive liar. It's true. I swear it.
Yep, turns out Helena Taylor's whole spiel was a pile of crap. Jason Schreier, the one good Kotaku journalist, did some research and found that Taylor asked for $100K plus residuals. Platinum refused, but offered her 10K for a cameo, which seems a lot fairer for a shorter role. But
Yeah,
nope,
see?
she made a big stink and tried to emotionally blackmail her fans and did the ultimate big brain move of inadvertently confirming all the reports. The cherry on top, she tried to get fans to donate their money to charities that are way too political for this channel, but that just made her even less popular. So to sum up, Helena Taylor took advantage of an actual noble cause in her fan base, threw a fellow VA under the bus for doing nothing wrong, broke NDA, which left her in the perfect position to get sued,
but you're not going to be able to get
in an awkward position, which led him to close his Twitter. Though, to be honest, his Twitter wasn't great to begin with. And how did her campaign play out? Well, Bayonetta 3 just won an award for Best Action Game. Its sales are skyrocketing, and everyone loves it. So her gambit amounted to, let's see.
Nothing!
You want nothing!
Nothing! Stupid! You're so stupid! Our champion of workers' rights, everyone.
Honestly, Helena could learn a lot from the has-been hotel actors. When their show was finally greenlit for television, they had to be recast with union actors. The fans were PO'd, but the actors understood that's just showbiz. Similar thing happened with Scream 6. Yeah, it's sad they missed out, but it's comforting to know they were professional about it, which is more than I can say for dear old Miss Taylor. Voice actors had little enough respect as it was, and you showed up, poisoned the conversation, and dipped. Appreciate that.
There you go, Helena. They'll never find a job again.
Up yours, traders! If you're dumb enough to fall for pyramid schemes, you're big enough smut to come to Jake Josh's JPEGs! Bad drawings! JPEGs that lose worth! Thieves! If you think you'll make a profit at Jake Josh's, you can kiss my hiney! It's our belief that you're such a stupid mother trucker, you'll fall for this bullcrap guaranteed! If you can properly invest, shove it up your ugly crack! You heard us right, shove it up your ugly crack! Bring your PayPal, bring your Venmo, bring your mom's credit card, we'll lose it! That's right, we'll lose your money! Because at Jake Josh's, you're scammed 6 ways from Sunday! Take a hike to Jake Josh's, home of Challenge Fishing! That's right, Challenge Fishing! How does it work? If you can get a public figure to fall for a blatantly obvious scam, you'll get away with it. Don't wait. Don't delay. Don't muck with us or we'll impoverish a whole demographic. Only at Jake Josh's, the only seller that tells you to buzz off. Hurry up, glasshole. This event ends the minute after you trust us with your personal info, and it better be legit or you're a broke matriarch fornicator. Go to Hades, Jake Josh's JPEGs, Crypto Scummiest, and the exclusive home of the greediest sons of fishes in the state of Texas. Guaranteed.
Yep.
At this point, there's no way you haven't heard of NFTs, even if you've gone out of your way to avoid anything to do with them. Throughout 2021, the internet was absolutely infested with them. And if you're a sane person who saw them for what they were, a giant scam, it was unbearable.
Thank you, Sunny Billy.
Fortunately, be it some act of divine intervention, or people actually wising up, the value of NFTs has plummeted. Despite this, many people still continue to attempt to squeeze blood from the proverbial stone. Fortunately, gamers have been nearly universally against NFTs in gaming. Yeah, some of the most divided groups of people ever came to a near consensus. Companies, however, didn't get the memo and still attempt to shove them down our throats. In a glorious display of irony, EA was smart enough to not push their luck.
Thanks, Satan.
It's EA. Action.
Though Ubisoft had no such hesitation. They dived headfirst into the scam with Ubisoft Quartz. To no one's surprise, except for Ubisoft's, it was a complete disaster. So much so they claimed it was just for research.
Right.
I don't believe you. Oh, and our good faux friend Peter Molyneux even tried to get into the fun.
I think this is the first time people actually hoped something from Molyneux would fail.
Thankfully, Microsoft was having absolutely none of it and completely banned NFTs in Minecraft, which led to the standalone attempt to make them collapse.
Kill the NFT.
And even the indie scammers, devs, are trying to get a slice of the pie crumbs. Take Untamed Isles, for instance. On paper, it seemed fine. A Pokemon-esque MMO that raised over 4 times its initial goal. Then people found out that the entire thing was nothing more than a glorified crypto game. As a result, the whole thing imploded overnight. Did I mention that the backers didn't get refunds because the devs wasted everything on crypto?
You don't have the money, do you?
In the end, the only thing the Untamed Isles did was set a new record for how quickly a Kickstarter game could crash and burn. Of course, that's downright laughable compared to the absolute exploitation that was Axie Infinity. This game quickly became the biggest pay-to-earn system around, or as it should be called, pay-to-be exploited. To make a long story short, it was promoted to low-income Filipinos as a way for them to make money simply by playing games. Of course, the whole thing was just a pyramid scheme with extra steps. I began to think it's not a coincidence that this game was primarily marketed to a financially illiterate demographic. And if that was too difficult for them, why not steal indie games and try to resell them as NFTs? That'll totally work. But somehow, despite all of this, and in the face of millions lost through hacks, people keep falling for these.
How can people be so gullible?
Yeah, that sunk cost bandwagon gamblers. See?
At this point, all we can do is hope against hope that companies finally realize that NFTs are more trouble than they're worth. Even then, it's only a matter of time before the next get-rich-quick scheme, I mean, new creative avenue pops up.
Pretty much. Give your money, guys. Come
Yuji
on.
Naka's insider trading. Oh, what a surprise. Cue the City Escape memes. Nintendo's annoyances, online mismanagement, and finish it later is still an ongoing practice. Miyamoto, we need to talk. Saints Row, why do you hire writers that hate the things they're writing? G4 TV shutting down. Why do you hire performers that hate the people they're performing for? Sonic Omens, way to give quality fan games a bad rap. At least we got Russian Shadow.
Where's the objective location?
Sony annoyances. Inflation is inevitable, but jeez, Sony. GameStop walkouts. Fail for GameStop. A win for the working man. Disney Expo over monetization. Oh, that was a whole lot of nothing. Stadia. Saw it coming, yet I'm still surprised. Hope those servers get used for something good. From Software, not fixing servers. So they're taking it up from Ubisoft, are they? Last of Us Remake. The game isn't broken. It's the people who think it was ever good enough to pay $60 for. Heyo! Epic Games, the number 11 on this list. They paid out $520 million for violating kids' privacy.
Ouch.
Marlon? My. Someone's been a very
naughty boy
naughty company this year.
We thought it couldn't get any worse after Activision made it to #1 on last year's list. Unfortunately, Activision Blizzard has gone above and beyond the call of suck. To the point where many are wondering if Activision has dethroned EA as the evilest gaming company. Why they've done so many awful things this year, I could probably make a countdown just on Activision fails this year alone. Actually, Activision Blizzard not compressing Call of Duty files. 7 megabytes on disk plus 150 gigabytes download. Literally e-waste. There is no justification for a game needing to take up this much hard drive space. Modern Warfare 2's remake is missing basic features. No leaderboards, challenges, stats, split screen. There are literally fewer features in the game than in the original released in 2009. Yet they still made millions off an unfinished game. So much for learning their lesson.
Yep.
The Great Diablo Immortal scandal. To get a full build in that game could run you as much as $100,000 in microtransactions. Heck, getting a single legendary gem cost one streamer $16,000. And remember, a lot of this stuff is random drops. So if you get unlucky... Overwatch 2. You know how I sometimes complain that Mario Galaxy 2 is basically DLC for Mario Galaxy 1?
Perhaps I treated you too harshly.
Compared to Overwatch 2, Mario Galaxy 2 is a shining beacon of what a sequel should be. But wait, there's more. Overwatch 2 required you to link a phone number to your account. At first, these phone numbers had to be a contract number, which means to play the game, you'd have to be shilling out hundreds of dollars for a phone contract if you didn't already have one.
Do you guys not have phones?
Yeah, you guys all have phones, right?
In more recent times, they've allowed prepaid numbers and might drop the requirement entirely, but is it just me, or does this sound like a massive security risk? I mean, gaming companies never get data leaks from pissed off hackers, right?
Yeah.
Oh. And of course, there's a typical bad Activision monetization with a crappy battle pass and a storefront that was bugged in such a way that it bought items for you, and Activision refused to issue refunds. I continue, but there are more failures to talk about. Literal plagiarism. Call of Duty Vanguard artists stole designs from Dead Drop, Gundam, and even VTubers.
Damn.
For all the brown-nosing Actiblaze did to China, what with silencing Hearthstone players who sided with the Taiwan protests, there's some sweet karmic justice in that China has seen fit to give Actiblaze the boot. Fail for them, win for us. The diversity tool. I wish I was joking, but Actiblaze actually came up with a numerical value system for ethnicities, disabilities, and sexualities in their character designs. And really, doesn't that just tell you everything you need to know? You aren't a person. You are a disability. You aren't a human. You are a skin color. You aren't alive. You are a checkbox. They are so confident consumers will buy anything that matches a flag that they don't even need to consider things like backstory, personality, goals, likes or dislikes, you know, things that make a character a character. It's sad that people's visibility, inclusivity, and representation is being pushed at the expense of their humanity. Bobby Kotick lying about the real reason they're being sold to Microsoft. Yeah, it's all about not shipping Overwatch and Diablo. Totally has nothing to do with the awful work culture and the ramifications of people's perceptions. Is this company just allergic to accountability? Oh, look. They got another lawsuit. This time from the family of someone who got harassed into ending their life. When is it going to end with this black hole of a company?
Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing's going to get better. It's not.
I'm the fiery Joker, and yeah, I joke about needing the content, but I still want this industry to improve. I'd like to see the day where I don't have to make these kinds of countdowns.
Amen.
But,
well,
since I have no outside doubt these problems shall persist, their folly shan't be missed, they'll all be on the list.
Yeah, just like the once was said, it's all on us. After all, if they ain't making money, they won't change. Or, well, I mean, as long as they're making money, they won't change. So, yeah, my bad on the terminology there, but yeesh. Like I said, just people save money, okay? Like, if you have a feeling a game is gonna be bad, just wait a minute, okay? Like, just don't buy it. Wait until launch. See how the reviews come in, and boom, go for it. If it's good, great, go. If not, yeah, trust me, they won't stop until you smarten up. But people are gonna be idiots, so what are you gonna do? Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that one. Till next time, like, subscribe for more. Good night, everybody.